What is up, Heifas and friends? Welcome to another episode of Java and Journeys with Jillian. If you're new here to this channel, what is up? How are you? My name is Jillian and welcome to my Java journey today. So what are we going to be doing? Well, we are at Disney's Hollywood Studios. We are going to check out Mama Melrose, get into some Italian food and maybe have a coffee-based drink or two. And then we're going to head over to Star Wars Land where we are going to partake in some libations at Olga's Cantina. I cannot wait to try it. I've actually been to Olga's, but the one in Disneyland. I have not been to the one here at Hollywood Studios, and they have a fancy coffee drink that I cannot wait to get into. Let's get into this journey. I wanted to check in. How are you all doing today? I am feeling a little tired. I just finished a Walk and Talk Wednesday live stream, which if you have not peeped out my Walk and Talk Wednesdays, I highly recommend to do so. Basically, it's me live streaming from one of the Disney parks. I'm hoping to get to Universal at some point. The only reason why I haven't added Universal to the rotation yet is just because they have odd hours, and given my work schedule, I'm like, by the time I get off of work, I get all the way out there, it's not going to be worth my time. I maybe would be able to get in 2 hours at most, and that's being generous. So once Universal starts kicking into their summer hours and staying open a little bit later, I cannot wait to add them. But essentially what I do is just talk about a hot topic, something that's going on in pop culture or just like in the world, and get some exercise in. I am a firm believer that sometimes when you're done with a long day of work, whatever that looks like for you, it's good to get out, get some fresh air, and just enjoy the Disney scene. You all will see right behind me is Runaway Railway, which is one of my absolute favorites. I don't know if I'm actually going to be able to get on it tonight because before heading over to Mama Melrose, which is an Italian restaurant, the wait times are still pretty lengthy right now. It is, let's see, close to 8 o'clock. And Hollywood Studios is actually going to be open, I think, until 9, but they had a later viewing of one of their, I don't know why I'm blanking on the name, y'all. This is what tells you it's been a long day, Fantasmic. So they're going to be doing an actual later showing of Fantasmic. So they're technically going to be closed around 9 o'clock, but they will probably be open. My reservations at Olga's Cantina, we actually booked one of the last reservations, which I think will be interesting, and that's at 10:20. So we'll see what that's like. Hopefully I can jump on a ride after dinner when the wait times are at their lowest, but y'all know your girl gets motion sickness, so I'm probably not going to do Tower of Terror. Definitely I would love to get a ride on Runaway Railway because I haven't actually been on that in a while, or something else that is not going to make me absolutely nauseous. So let's go ahead. We're just going to walk around, take in some of the sights before our reservation at Mama Melrose. And as we're walking toward our reservation at Mama Melrose, my co-producer just informed me about Gertie the dinosaur. I didn't even know the dinosaur had a name. But y'all, check out this view. I have to tell you all, it's just so breathtaking. I absolutely love Hollywood Studios. I wish it had more theming because I do feel like the areas that are best themed at Hollywood Studios, probably Star Wars Land, like bar none, and Toy Story Land. And the rest of the park is supposed to give you kind of like that California vibe, which it does. It gives me that, especially at the start of the park as you start walking toward the Tower of Terror. It just, it makes me miss Southern California. Did any of you all watch The Hills? Drop down in the comments if you were into The Hills and some of the classic MTV shows way back in the day. Look at me aging myself. But I keep hearing the theme song of The Hills every time I walk into Hollywood Studios. And then the song kind of slowly fades away as we get further away from the California Hollywood theme and we lean into Toy Story or Star Wars. But I absolutely love it, and the sun is setting here, so what a great time to go get some Italian food. So, unfamiliar, Mama Melrose is actually located near the Muppet area, where you have Muppet Vision, you have Pizzerizzos, like the full Muppet theming at Hollywood Studios, which makes me sad because it's soon going to go away. So at the time of this recording, which we are in about mid-April right now, everything's going to be shutting down over here in terms of the Muppet Land, Muppet area here in June, y'all, in early June at that. So let me give you all a quick peek at what this currently looks like, the state of the state, because I know this place, as we get closer to June, is going to get packed out. My co-producer is currently checking us in. We have Pizza Rizzo's over here, which I have never eaten at Pizza Rizzo's. If you have, drop down in the comments. I've not heard great things about it, but I do want to try it out for the sake of doing it before it fully closes down. And then we have our beloved Muppet Vision, which is the cutest little like theatric experience that I really hate that they are getting rid of. If anything, I wish that they would just refurbish it. And if you have ever caught me on my walk and talks, because I've leaned into this in my past walk and talks here at Hollywood Studios, that I'm like, come on, why do y'all have to do the Muppets dirty like this? Like, I feel like, and some of you all that are very dedicated Disney heads and that know the history, from my opinion as someone that's not as steeped in it as like my co-producer, I will say that I feel like they didn't, after Jim Henson's death, feel like they had to invest as much in the Muppets, which is super disappointing, because even at Epcot, there were some like cute moments that they would have with the Muppets, and they just completely have shut down those kind of experiences. And I think that some of these things even shut down before, you know, pandemic. So it's really a shame and disappointing. But I'll also, just to give you another POV, we have the Miss Piggy Statue of Liberty fountain, because we all know Miss Piggy is the embodiment of grace, confidence, talent. As Miss RuPaul Charles would say, uniqueness, talent, and nerve. Come on, y'all. Y'all know that is Miss Piggy to a T. And from Pizza Rizzo's, we are actually going to walk our way back. And Mama Melrose is located in this area. And fun fact, this is my first time going. I keep saying Mama Melrose. Mama Melrose is a restaurant, an Italian restaurant in Seattle. So obviously I have Seattle on my brain, because I'm hoping to actually go visit one of my good friends here in the next few weeks. But Mama Melrose, it's my first time actually visiting. So it's like just in time for it to be shutting down, which is a little depressing, but hopefully it'll just be a good time and, you know, have a quick little nice memory. And like I said before, I'm hoping to, even though I know it doesn't have a great rap or reputation, just for the novelty of it, to try Pizza Rizzo's at some point. But here is Mama Melrose. It's so cute. And y'all, look at the outside of this area. We have the Pizza Rizzo signs, but it is so quiet. It's about 8 o'clock now, and it's astonishing how quiet it is back here. So I would say if this area was going to be like around for many years to come, that if you ever just need a break, this may be a great place to just take a break at, but it's gonna be going bye-bye soon. All right, and here's the entrance, and we're gonna go ahead and check in. Here's the menu for your viewing pleasure. So on one side, of course, we have an overview of the specialty drinks. And of course, your girl zeroed in on the coffees that they have. And what's interesting to me is they also have an espresso martini or excuse me, not an espresso martini, a chocolate martini that I am vaguely curious to try. Maybe I can see if they have a coffee liqueur in that. And then also here are the appetizers. Now, of the appetizers, we are going to get the minestrone soup. We're also going to get the burrata salad. Your girl loves a good burrata salad, and 'tis the season for that right now. And then we're also going to get the mushroom pizza. My co-producer and I will be splitting an entree as well. Given our appetizers, we're going to try the Mama's pasta with shrimp. But all of this, y'all, is very conventional. And it's a little bit darker mood lighting in here, but you can see these prices are nothing to scoff at. So I'm happy that we're going to be splitting a lot of this. And even a lot of the cocktails that they have a whole separate cocktail menu that has a much more extensive list than what I just showed you on the basic menu. And the cocktails are going to run you about $17.50. So depending on how they can hook your girl up with the chocolate martini, they can put a little coffee liqueur, because how can we be doing Java and Journeys without our Java, y'all? We're going to see what they can do. If they can't hook us up, then your girl may just do a coffee at the end of the meal to get our energy and get our caffeinated spirits up before heading into Olga's Cantina. We just placed our order, and I'm not even going to hold y'all. This water is hitting the spot. Like, when you have been in meetings all day, for those of you all that know about the struggle, or you've just been active at work, and then if you have a second hobby, whether that's content creating, whether that's something else that you pour your time into, and you're doing talking with that thing, at the end of the day, y'all, your voice is just, that's how you can always tell I've just filmed a walk and talk. Or even if I do like abbreviated live streams throughout the week, because my voice is just like going through it. So I decided to not even get the chocolate martini. That was going to be the plan at first. But then after I started thinking about it, I'm like, you know what? I just want something that is going to elevate my caffeinated soul. So let's just go with the cafe mocha. Though that doesn't actually pair really well with anything I ordered Italian food. I probably should have went with the sangria, some red wine. But again, you all know that I try to give you all some coffee realness in my recordings. So I ordered a cafe mocha because I think that that will hit the spot, and this is going to be sort of like my caffeinated pregame before heading into Olga's Cantina. As a quick little carby something before our meal comes out, we have our rolls here, and then alongside some oil and herbs to dip it in. Again, y'all know I have to keep it real. These rolls are looking a little blonde. I wish that they're a little bit darker at the top, but after just coming off of a walk and talk, I'm okay with trying this out and getting some of my nourishment in after walking off some of those calories. And Mama Melrose is not playing any games, so I just literally took a bite of the roll and then our food came out. I will say, I was a little bit nervous. I'm like, oh my God, is this roll going to feel a little bit undercooked? But actually, it's crispy, it's warm, it's flaky, no complaints there. And our burrata looks so good, y'all. Tell me this does not say spring and summer. And here is our minestrone soup as well, which feels nice and hot. As well as our drinks just came out, so my co-producer actually got a whiskey breeze, a whiskey-based cocktail. Here is my cafe mocha. My co-producer has graciously let me take the first sip of his whiskey breeze, so you know how we like to do things over here. Cheers. Thank you for joining me on this journey. Ooh, and that's nice. That is very nice. If you are someone that I think loves a whiskey sour, it gives me whiskey sour vibes, a little fruity. You have your whiskey/bourbon. It definitely, for those of you all that are whiskey bourbon drinkers, if you want something that feels a bit more tropical, that is it. I'm actually astonished that that is really good because I wasn't sure what to expect with it. And while we're at it, let's try our cafe mocha. I'm feeling a little nervous because it has the chocolate syrup at the top. So hopefully this won't be too sweet, and the size of it looks rather small. But we'll cheers to this as well and see how it tastes. And again, thank you for joining me on my caffeinated adventures. Y'all, it kind of tastes like, it doesn't taste like espresso. It tastes like drip coffee with some chocolate. And as a matter of fact, I'm going to kind of stir it and to see if I can blend the chocolate in, but it doesn't taste like it's espresso with a nice mocha. I actually prefer my co-producer's drink far better, but y'all, we pay for this drink, so we're still gonna drink it whether we like it or not and get into our food. I had an opportunity to stir the syrup at the top into the coffee, and it does taste a little bit better. Still not my favorite, so again, a little bit more disappointed by the coffee. But let me tell you what I'm not disappointed by. The minestrone soup, I had a chance to take a bite of that. That's really good. We're about to get into some burrata action, and you see the arugula, the balsamic, the mozzarella. Let's see how this tastes. Oh yeah, that is delicious. It's seasoned really well, and burratas can have all sorts of different types of, like a sauce of some sort to bind it. Oftentimes, I prefer mines with that balsamic reduction with a little bit of hit of salt, that pepper, and any other kind of fresh herbs and ingredients. That is actually really good. And dare I say, I think I may actually prefer this burrata over the burrata I had at Wine Bar George. Not that that was bad, but it was just like, if I can remember correctly, it didn't have a balsamic reduction. I had a different other type of sauce to it, but that is delicious. And the minestrone soup is banging, which is a relief for me because I'm like, this coffee ain't it. But y'all know your girl is not about to waste Disney coins. It's not so bad that I can't drink it. It's just not what I expected. But you know, it's all good. The meal is hitting, and I care more about that since that's where more of my coins are going than anything else. And our mushroom pizza just arrived. Y'all, look how good this is. And can we admire the crust for a second? It's topped with the arugula. You see the mushrooms, the caramelized onions. I love wood fire pizza. I love pizza with like the thinner crust that's crispy on the ends. Typically with like traditional pizza, I do love like thick crust, but I have such an affinity for wood fire because it's thinner. The full pizza slice is crispy. I cannot wait to try this out. I'm going to get into this pizza. Ooh. Look at this, y'all. That cheese pool. Hopefully I got some good footage of that. I could also make my life easier and like turn the camera around so you can see it a little bit better. And it's kind of hard to see from this angle, but let me kind of tip this up. The crust is perfectly cooked, and I'm curious to see what the texture of this pizza is going to be. Let's get into it. That is delicious. Now, obviously, this goes without saying, if you're not a fan of mushrooms, caramelized onion, arugula, you're not gonna like this, right? But if you are a fungi lover, this pizza is so good. The texture is chewy. I haven't gotten to the ends, but my co-producer is almost nearly finished with his slice, and I can hear the crunch in the crust, so I have no doubt like it's going to be crispy at the end. This is what a good pizza, how I prefer my pizzas to be made. Either it's going to be light and crispy, and you see that bottom. Either it's going to be that, or give me a nice fluffy crust, a dough. I cannot stand, and how can anyone stand undercooked pizza, right? Like that's going to be a no-go, or a pizza that doesn't have any kind of crunch to it. Like I feel like I still want my pizza, even if it's a softer, fluffier crust, to have some sort of crunch. How do you like your pizzas? This is so good. This goes without saying. With Mama Melina closing soon, if you are planning a trip here, if you happen to be able to catch reservations. Now, I will say the pasta is a little bit more controversial. I've not tried the pasta my first time here, but of what I ordered, with the exception being the cafe mocha, everything has been really good. Speaking of, can't really speak about the pasta. I hear that the pasta is overrated. Our shrimp pasta just came out, and I'm not gonna hold you all. This pizza is so good. I forgot that we even ordered pastas when they brought the pasta to the table, I was just like, oh my God, I forgot we even ordered this. Y'all, check it out. This looks so tasty. And you can get this with chicken instead of shrimp if you're not a huge seafood fan, but I wanted to try it. It's not often I have a seafood-based pasta, but you have like the little mushrooms right here, the kale at the top, the 3 cheese. They say that the pasta is not all that great here. We're gonna put that to the test because y'all know I have no problem keeping it 100. I'm like, listen, it's not gonna hurt Disney's bank account. Okay, so that first bite, just pasta, no veggies, no shrimp. It's fine. Nothing exceptional, just cheesy pasta goodness. Now we're gonna try a bite with a little bit of mushroom and some kale. And get our zoom working here. It makes me feel like I am somewhat eating healthy. That kale is bomb. That kale with the pasta, and you can tell that they cook the kale on like the grill as a nice little char taste. Y'all, my spirit is hurt because this is the first time I've literally been here. And had I known, because people have really given this place a bad rap, I would have tried to make a more of an effort to come here. The only other restaurant that I've been to, but it's been a long time, this was like before I even moved to Florida, is the Brown Derby. And I honestly don't remember enough about it to be able to speak on it. The shrimp is cooked perfectly. Y'all, life isn't fair. My co-producer and I were just talking, and when we walk to Olga's Cantina, I'll probably speak more in depth about this, but what am I talking about? The Brown Derby is one of these sit-down restaurants I've been to a long time ago, but most recently, I didn't film this. We went to Woody's Roundup for barbecue. I would pick Mama Melrose any day of the week over Woody's Roundup, and people love Woody's Roundup. And I mean, it's themed really well. It's very cute. Y'all, this is where it's at. This is so much better than any of that food. So, you know, I'm gonna have to let you go so I can continue to work on this meal. All right, y'all, so we are completely done with our meal. I am going to give you all a little bit of another viewing of what Mama Melrose looks like on our way out. So this is the area that we were seated in, and as you can see, it's actually started to clear out quite a bit, which was quite nice because it became very quiet. And I love the vibe and the ambiance, and I'm really disappointed that this is my first time coming over here right when they're about to close next month. But this is so cute and quaint. And honestly, it just feels like one of those standard Italian-American restaurants. And you have like a little bit of Disney touch, as you see Mickey right there. But truly, it's just a quintessential home-style Italian vibe, right? Italian-American, more specifically. And it is officially dark outside, so I'm happy that with us switching into nighttime mode, it actually feels a little bit cooler out here. And I have to tell you all what I think. I feel like I have been lied to. My co-producer feels like he's been lied to. We're sitting back and we're trying to figure out, this place has such a bad rap. Why is that? I don't know if it's just because of the time of night that we got here, because we really have not put Mama Melrose on our list. Same with Pizza Rizzo's. I was telling you all this right as we were walking in, that I have not heard great things, more specifically about Pizza Rizzo, but every time we've come to Hollywood Studios, which we don't come as often as Epcot is my favorite, and of course Magic Kingdom is the classic, the old favorite, but the times that we've come to Hollywood Studios when we've talked about eating somewhere, typically I'm like, oh, Brown Derby, and then maybe a few other places, but we never actually end up eating out. Although my last walk and talk, like I said, we went to Woody's Roundup. Woody's Roundup, y'all, was not that great. The environment, it's fun. It's themed appropriately. It's so cute. But to me, Mama Melrose blows Woody's Roundup out of the park. Like, I feel sad, and I feel like it's gonna be on site with you Mama Melrose haters. But like, because so many people spoke so down about it, that it just never was something we thought to prioritize. And I'm like, shoot, so we're definitely gonna come back out here before they close next month. And again, the worst thing about the meal was my sad excuse for a cafe mocha. That was pretty terrible. Not gonna hold you all, but everything else about the meal was excellent. It was so good, especially that pasta. Now the pasta alone, it would be basic, but with that smoky kale, it also had butternut squash, the porcini mushrooms, all of it, just the flavors were everything. So I'm shook. So for those of you all that have been to Mama Melrose and maybe you have not liked it, because again, I was like, okay, well the pizza's good, the soup is good, the burrata is good. Maybe what the problem is the pasta. Because people basically feel like Mama Melrose is overpriced and it's more adjacent to Olive Garden. Listen, now as someone who's not a hater of unlimited breadsticks and salads, I love Olive Garden for that. And typically when we have gone to Olive Garden, that's what I get. I literally just get the soup, salad, and breadsticks, and that's it. I felt like personally that was a little bit better than Olive Garden, but that's just me. You never know. Sometimes people catch certain restaurants on an off night. Everyone's palate is different. But like y'all know I'm not ashamed of telling you what I think. I am just blown away at how good that was. So I'm both shooketh and disappointed. And let me tell you all, while we were eating, there was a family that was across from us. I feel so bad for the mom, assuming that that's the mom or the guardian. She had her kids with her, and the kids looked like they were old enough to know better. Like, especially the son. He's probably like, I don't know, 8, not like a toddler. And he was being so disrespectful. She kept telling him to stop doing things, and he was just like, no. And I'm like, boy, if you don't sit down and listen to your mama who has spent her money to get your A here, paying all this money for Hollywood Studios, and you're at Mama Melrose eating this good pizza and this good pasta, if you don't sit your butt down. Sometimes I just want to snatch somebody's kid, but I don't play in court, so I'm just going to keep my judgment thoughts to myself and not lay hands on anyone's children. I'm just going to think to myself, like, you are so disrespectful. You are so privileged. You need to sit down and listen to your mama and eat this good pizza. Y'all, Mama Melrose was, for me, it was a banger. Definitely one of the best restaurants here. This is my little humble opinion after one visit. Maybe the next time I visit, it will be an entirely different experience. And I'll be real about that, but it's closing next month. So if you get a chance to try it out, if you happen to find yourself here, try it. Y'all, right now, we have gone away from the Muppets area all the way over to Star Wars. We have some time to kill before our reservation at Olga's Cantina. So you all know what we're gonna do. We are gonna get on Rise of the Resistance because the wait time is less than 30 minutes, which is awesome for Disney World. We're gonna have ourselves a good little time, get on this ride, and then I'll check back in with you all when we get to Olga's Cantina.
Incoming transmission from Ray. BB-8, is everyone assembled? Good. Should we be in flight prep? Recruits, thank you for joining the cause. Okay.
just finished our fun ride on Rise of the Resistance. That ride is just, and again, as someone who appreciates Star Wars, but who's definitely not in the midst of the fandom, I don't know all the lingo, all the details, all the characters. Let me tell you, that ride is just absolutely incredible. You do not have to be a Star Wars guru in order to appreciate what the Disney Imagineers were able to put together when they decided to make Rise of the Resistance. It's probably one of the most incredible Disney rides I've ever been on. And like, the views just keep getting better, especially this time in the evening. I am so happy that we have one of the last reservations for the evening at Olga's Cantina, because what a great way to wrap up the night, having a fabulous meal at Mama Melrose and then having a little bit of a nightcap before we call it a evening here at Disney Hollywood Studios. So we have one of the last grouping of reservations for the evening. We're going to see if they can take us just a little bit early. And let me show you what the outside of Olga's Cantina looks like, just to give you an idea. And it's pretty nondescript. So for sure, if this is your first time here at Hollywood Studios and you have time planned to go to Olga's, make sure to give yourself plenty of time to kind of walk around and get familiarized with the space. And we have made it in early. Thank you. All right, friends, here is the menu. And you know your girl's gonna keep the Java journeys going by getting the Corellian Spike Cold Brew. I cannot wait to try that out. And my co-producer is actually gonna try a new beverage they recently put on the menu, the Sila. And this one that I was just showing quite briefly, the Blueberry Essence drink, that one's also a newer one, but this is the one he's going to be getting. And on this side, you can find all drinks. And then on the other side are non-alcoholic specials you can get here at Olga's, as well as some snacks. Our drinks just came out. It did not take too long at all. Here is my cold brew. Look how fantastic that looks. And then here is my co-producer's cocktail, the Sila. So in the spirit of Java and Journeys, you know how we like to do things here. Cheers. Thank you for joining me on this extra special caffeinated adventure.
What's the pronunciation? Lucky liver?
Y'all, that is good, but it is thick. It is super thick. You can definitely taste the ube. It's cold foam. This is super refreshing for a day that you've been walking around the park. I highly recommend this, but I'm actually going to use my straw and stir it up a little bit to see if I can blend in more of those coffee and ube flavors. Y'all, given the lighting, I'm like, let me take my glasses off because the reflection of the lights are just bouncing all off. But here is the Sila. Let's try it out. Ooh, that is nice. I love mezcal, and I know for some, mezcal and that smoky flavor is not the thing. Y'all, this is delicious and very refreshing. You can get some of that spicy seasoning, garnish, I should say more appropriately, because you know we're cultured over here. This is super good. This is like so appropriate for the spring and summer. So good. While we are enjoying our drinks, you see that DJ Rex is dropping that hot fire beat. And fun fact, because you all know I don't really know anything quite interesting about Disney, but you know who does? My co-producer. He was telling me that Rex used to be the droid that would captain the Star Tours. And so they have actually replaced him, of course, with CP3O, if you've recently been on Star Tours, and now he has completely switched careers. That's right, our boy Rex is like, I'm good, I'm done with taking all you heifers out and about in space. You all taking up my good air being space tourists. I am going to now settle into my new life as a DJ. I'm not mad about it. And by the way, This is definitely, get a straw with this drink, blend it up a little bit, and you get that bourbon, get the ube flavors, the chocolate. This is super delicious, but I think I actually like my co-producer's drink a little bit more because it gives me the summertime vibes. We have just finished our drinks, and before we head on out, I want to kind of give you a 360 view of Olga's Cantina. So of course, this is the main bar, which is the star of the show. Yeah, no problem. And let's go around, and they have these fun little booths, and sometimes they'll put all sorts of groups. Here's our DJ Rex over here giving us all the bops. And in terms of the cozy little booths here, and then here's kind of like a shot of some of the taps in the back. And then you can't go around that way, so we'll go back around the opposite way. But you kind of get the gist because this is pretty much what it looks like all around. And the booths are super cozy, so fun fact that my co-producer and I, this is at Disneyland, we're able to sit at the booth with a group of a few others, and it was actually a lot of fun. We ended up talking about Taylor Swift and I think a few other topics. It was just a good kiki. We're having a good time, and all of us complete strangers. So if you're someone who is adverse to sitting with other strangers, you're like, listen, I just want to be on my own, then you may want to request just standing at the bar, because if you are not amongst a dedicated party that will fill up one of these booth seats, and I'll show you the other side, and again, like I said, it's pretty much duplicated, then your best bet is definitely standing room at the bar. Which is tough, right? Especially if you have been on your feet at the park all day. For me, as someone who has just popped in for the evening, I'm like, this is nothing. I actually like being able to stand up because I sit so much doing work at my computer. But that's just a heads up and word to the wise that if you don't want to sit with strangers and you're amongst a small group, see if you could request a standing seat at the bar, or standing seat. Y'all, I promise you, I am not intoxicated. It's just been a long day. See if you can request standing room at the bar, unless your feet are killing you. And then if that's the case, just suck it up, enjoy the experience, get to know someone else who is probably passing through, or who could be like me and be a local and just here to have a good time. Okay, so we have officially left Olga's Cantina, and here is a fantastic view of the Millennium Falcon. And then all around, and y'all, there's no one here. This is amazing. So if you're in a position where you can get one of the last reservations at Olga's, and then you just want to be able, especially if you're a huge Star Wars buff, and you want to hang out and just enjoy this part of the park with minimum crowds, pretty much no crowds at all, I highly, highly, highly recommend, if you can swing it, right? But I was gonna say, thank you so much for joining me. I love Olga's Cantina. This is my first visit at the location at Disney World. And of course, I've been to the Disneyland location, I think twice, perhaps. And my co-producer is just saying that it used to be such a hot commodity when it first opened, very hard to get into. Now it's pretty much a lot easier, especially if you get a reservation toward the end of the day. But I highly encourage you, with a lot of things that require reservations, the sit-down restaurants, anything like Olga's Cantina, you want to plan ahead if you are visiting the Orlando area. I personally, recapping, loved my cold brew. I am a whiskey bourbon girly, so for me, that drink hit the spot, but I loved the Psylop a lot better just because it was to me an embodiment of the summer. Y'all, what have we learned today? Well, we learned that Mama Melina's has some straight haters, and that it is actually really good, and your girl is super bummed to maybe be lucky enough to get one more visit in. Y'all, it closes on May 10th. My co-producer just told me this, and I'm like, well, that sucks because I'm probably going to be out of town. I have a work trip scheduled in San Francisco, and then I may be going to Seattle. So I don't know that I'm going to be back in enough time to actually catch the last, like, one more visit before it officially closes down. We're going to see. I'm going to keep my fingers crossed that I'll be able to take one more visit there. But y'all, what honestly I've learned in all this is sometimes now people will say something's not good, and truly sometimes it isn't, but it's always worth trying something out for yourself. Honestly, that is the ultimate lesson that I've learned, because straight up, I can't tell you the number of things I have tried that my sister shared with me from like an Instagram reel or a TikTok, and it's someone that's like espousing that something's so great or it's so much fun. And you all know that you have been there. You show up and you're like, what the H is this? This is like, it's like you have TikTok, you have Instagram, and it sometimes shows a complete fantasy, and then you show up and you're just like, like real life, this ain't it. So I think honestly, tried and true, the biggest lesson is try something out for yourself, always keep an open mind, and form your own opinion. With that being said, thank you for joining me on this journey. I will catch you on the next one. Bye.